Welcome to the reading of the Times Reporter newspaper for Friday, February the 5th. My name is Pam, and we will begin our reading with the area deaths. Keith Eugene Brownfield, 91, of New Philadelphia, died Tuesday, February 2nd, while vacationing on St. Simon's Island, Georgia. Edo Miller and Sons Funeral Home is handling the arrangements. John Burkhart, age 84, of Tippecanoe, passed away on Sunday, January 31st, at his home. There will be no calling or services. John will be laid to rest at the Mayor's School Cemetery. Tanya Nussbaum Davis, age 55, passed away Tuesday, January 26th, in California while working as a traveling nurse. A memorial visitation observed Saturday, February 6th, from 1 p.m. until 3 p.m. in the Baxter Gardner Funeral Home at Sherrodtsville. A private graveside service will be held at a later date in the Leesville Cemetery. And that concludes the area deaths from today's online edition. Let's begin with our first article. COVID-19, 26 new cases in Tuscarawas County. As of Thursday, there were 7,712 cases of COVID-19 in Tuscarawas County, an increase of 26 from Wednesday. Of that number, 562 are active cases and 6,948 are presumed recovered. There have been a total of 202 COVID-19 related deaths in the county. Well, Carroll County Grand Jury indicts suspect in gas burning death by Malcolm Hall. The suspect in last month's gasoline burning death is facing an 8-count indictment from the Carroll County Grand Jury as prosecutors revealed additional details of the January 23rd incident. Arlen A. Atkinson, 53, is facing 1 count of aggravated murder and felonious assault, and 2 counts each of murder, aggravated arson, and kidnapping. Atkinson, according to investigators and the Carroll County Prosecutor's Office, retrieved a gas can and set fire to his housemate, Scott Hupp, 58. He died a day later while a patient in the burn unit of Akron Children's Hospital. Both men lived in a 3-bedroom brick bungalow at Bellflower and Lily Roads Northwest in Brown Township. The fire occurred about 5:30 p.m. January 23rd. According to earlier court testimony, the pair had been arguing about the Amish, and Atkinson was upset about being called a racist. In a statement about the indictment from County Prosecutor Stephen Barnett, Atkinson also closed the door to the room after setting Hupp on fire, hindering Hupp's ability to escape. Hupp suffered burns over 75% of his body, according to the statement. The owner of the home, Mark Maley, said the pair were renters. "This was not a group home," said Maley of Maley Homes. "I own group homes. That is not all I do. It was a private residence. They didn't need any level of supervision. They were mental health clients. I never provided any mental health services." While Maley says the house where Atkinson and Hupp were living was not one of the company's group homes, he did provide some services. "I paid utilities and got them groceries now and then," Maley said. Atkinson and Hupp were not placed in the home by way of any rental agreement with the Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Board of Tuscarawas and Carroll counties. "Our board has not placed in a Maley home for quite a few years," says Natalie Bolin, Executive Director of the Mental Health Service Board, which serves Carroll and Tuscarawas counties. "We have other group homes that we work with." Maley said he's not sure what will happen to the building. "It was not totally destroyed," Maley said. "What I will do with it, I don't know. I may rent it out again. It is a tragedy, and I do feel badly. It is one of those things you can't fathom." Noah's Hope adds a new mural to the interview room by Terry Stein. A change in her college major spurred Sydney Maurer into the world of art, and her work will now help children who have suffered from abuse or neglect be more at ease. When Noah's Hope Child Advocacy Center Executive Director Mandy Prosser sought to put a mural in the organization's interview room, she did not have to look far. Maurer's father, Chad, is a detective for the Dover Police Department, and he is sometimes involved in cases that use the services of Noah's Hope provides. One day during a proud dad moment, he he showed Prosser his daughter's artwork. As soon as I saw her work, I knew she was the one, Prosser said of her search for an artist. Though Maurer, now a junior in college, describes herself as having always been crafty, she did not delve into art until she switched her major to graphic design and marketing in her sophomore year at Mount Vernon Nazarene University. From there, I've been drawing and painting, and I just love doing that. I've been selling some paintings recently, and it's a fun skill to be working on, Maurer said. The Dover High School graduate said she did not take art there, but participated in theater and band. After having done a golf course mural over last summer on 3 walls for one of her father's friends, Maurer was excited to get started on the mural for Noah's Hope. She was pleased to have been given a lot of creative space to plan the design. Mandy said she wanted something colorful and happy that kids of all ages would enjoy. I did a couple of sketches for her, and this bubble idea was by far my favorite, so I'm so happy that it was hers as well, Maurer said. I was just thinking about the movement of bubbles and the wonder that bubbles bring. I also wanted to incorporate the Noah's Hope Heart logo in that. It just all came together. The mural is titled Bubbles of Hope, and it took a total of about 40 hours to complete over the course of a week in early January. Maurer said she used a whole bunch of eyedroppers to make the paint drip line. Maurer enjoys painting, and she has her own business page on Facebook called Sidlin Designs. I love the idea of doing more murals, doing commissions painting for people, doing pet portraits, anything like that, Maurer said, adding in the future she also looks forward to becoming a website designer, graphic designer, and doing marketing. In its brief time, the mural has already proven to be valuable to the center, which provides forensic interviews of children who have suffered from sexual abuse, physical abuse, or extreme forms of neglect. Last Monday was the first day we had kids in since the mural was completed, Prosser said. It was an amazing icebreaker. Kids are coming back here to talk about some of the most horrible things that have ever happened to them. The first interview, the little girl walked in and immediately she's drawn to the wall. We were able to ask, which one is your favorite bubble? So she started talking about that, and just talking about the mural, and it immediately put her at ease. Prior to the formation of Noah's Hope in 2011, children had to go to different places that might make them uncomfortable. The kids might have been interviewed multiple times. They'd be interviewed by police, doctors, social workers, job and family services, and the prosecutor's office. So having a child advocacy center eliminates all those interviews, Prosser said. At the center, the children are interviewed only one time, and there is only one interviewer in the room. There are cameras in the room, and other officials who are helping in the investigation will watch the interview live from the conference room on the opposite end of the building. Before wrapping up, the interviewer will come out to see if there are any other questions or if something needs to be clarified. That way we don't have to keep bringing the family back for more interviews, Prosser said. She has been the director of the center for 2 years and previously worked for Job and Family Services. In 2019, the center saw 78 children, and in 2020 they saw 119 children. Prosser said the increase is due to the center now providing services for crimes between children such as rape. They're not being abused or neglected in the home, but a crime happened. If there's a crime and law enforcement is involved, then we will be involved, Prosser said. The center will see follow-up services in these cases are provided as well. They also would like to open the center for child interviews for cases that involve crimes in their homes, such as drug cases or other crimes. Noah's Hope CAC is a 501c3 nonprofit and operates mostly on grants, donations, and local funding. Victims of Crime Act is a federal program that also provides some money, but recently it lost funding and will lower its aids to the local agencies. In the future, the Noah's Hope organization would like to continue to add more interview services and purchase the building they are currently renting at East High Avenue in New Philadelphia. Unfortunately, Their chicken barbecue, always held on Super Bowl Sunday, was canceled this year. They also would like to have a fundraiser in April, which is Child Abuse Prevention Month. Working at the center can be stressful, but also rewarding. A quote decorating the kitchen of the center reads, "We cannot change what has happened to you, but we can help you change what happens next." It is a hard job, however. We get to see a lot of the healing, so that makes it a lot easier, Prosser said. We provide the interviews, and we also wrap the family in services in the community to help them move towards healing. Big Day for Big Equipment by Terry Stein. It was a big day on Friday, January 29th for big equipment. It also was a day that has been a year in the making. The work began when Dusty Welch, president of the Harrison Coal and Reclamation Historical Park, learned about the donation of a Marion 111-M drag line to the park. The equipment produced by the Marion Power Shovel Company of Marion, Ohio, has been used at the former 416 Sand and Gravel, where Welch once operated it. The shovel has been sitting unused on that property, which has since been sold to new owners for the past 6 years. They were produced roughly between 1941 and 1956. There were a total of 370 of them built, and this is one of 6 that are left in the country, Welch said. Many old machines are scrapped after they are no longer needed, so saving them for future generations is important. We're saving as much of this old equipment as we can. To get a good view of the future, we have to stand in the past. You have to learn where these machines came from to understand where equipment is going to go tomorrow, Welch said. Welch is thankful for the donation of the Marion 111-M and that the move is finally a reality. We're definitely excited that this is taking place because this is an amazing machine for its time and age, Welch said. They can move an amazing amount of material, and people love watching these things work. The park also owns another Marion 111-M that was donated to them in the 1990s. Welch said he was given the opportunity to run a large piece of equipment at the age of 14 and has been addicted ever since. It's definitely exciting to be able to finally save it, give it a good home, and hopefully get a lot more years out, Welch said. When we fired it up for the first time, it literally fired up like it sat overnight, and for the most part, worked like it had just sat overnight. They don't make equipment like they did back in the day. The machine was originally purchased by a coal company in New Philadelphia in 1949 and has had various owners over the years. Volunteers from the HCRHP have been working for the past year at the site on the west side of Goshen Hill Road in New Philadelphia to get the Marion 111-M ready to be transported to the park. We had to remove the boom, which was in 3 sections that are about 35 to 40 feet long each, Welch said. We had to remove the counterweights. There's a total of 9 counterweights. 3 weigh 5,600 pounds and 6 weigh 4,500 pounds. We drained all the fuel. We pulled all the pins so we could take the machine and pick it up. We had to put a fuel pump on the one engine and just various odds and ends. They also ran new air lines among other repairs to get the machine running to move it to a level location to finish the disassembly. It's all weekend work, Welch said, adding he and the volunteers who helped him all work full-time jobs during the week. Companies assisting in the move were Barnhart Crane and Riggins of Canton, which provided the cranes, Howard Bowers Contracting of Steubenville, which provided the truck for the cab, and Canton Towing, which provided the truck to transport the undercarriage. Welch estimated the move would cost between $15,000 and $16,000. That's with calling in a lot of favors, Welch said. But I was quoted anywhere between $90,000 to $120,000 to move this machine. Donations were received from Maple Leaf Demolition of Hinckley, Solon Brothers Sand and Gravel of Beach City, and Keith's Cars of New Philadelphia, among others. Welch also credited the volunteers. Without their help, the cost would have been much higher. All the pieces they removed from the Marion 111-M prior to moving day had already been transported to the park. The large cab and undercarriage were the 2 remaining pieces that were moved on Saturday. Once the Marion 111M reaches the HCRHP, it will undergo a restoration by the volunteers. They hope to have it in operation for their annual open house in September. The HCRHP has close to 20 machines of its own, with about a dozen that are operable, and it has members from all over the United States and the world. We actually just sold close to $500 worth of merchandise to a fellow from Sweden, says Brian Colson, a member of the HCRHP Board of Directors. They met the man at another heavy equipment show, and he was so impressed with the mission of the group that he purchased the memorabilia, which includes shirts and hats. The HCRHP is 100% volunteer-based. In addition to its annual fall show, it is planning to add a spring show this year over Memorial Day weekend. We're trying to get some summertime hours that we can have members on site, because we're getting such a collection established that people are really wanting to come down and see it, Welsh said. Follow the group's Facebook page or check its website for updates and information on becoming a member of the park. The open house is similar to a tractor or car show. Everyone brings their own equipment, and they spend time digging in the dirt. A flea market and vendors are also on site. Many Southside New Philadelphia neighbors gathered to watch the move. There were a lot of folks down here when we were working on it. They would sit, watch, and talk to us. They were really interested in it. They are sad to see it go, but glad to see it going to a good home, rather than just getting cut up for scrap, Welch said. The Rainbow Connection readies for telethon by Terry Stein. New Executive Director Percy Garner admits he's just a bit nervous about this year's Rainbow Connection telethon, to be held March 7th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. The event will be available on Spectrum Channel 15 or the organization's website at www.tuskrainbow.org. It will be the first telethon for the Dover High School graduate who went on to play professional baseball. He is happy to be back in the community where he grew up and heading a program he believes in. He officially began as executive director this year in January, after former director Carmel Hodder retired. Hodder served more than 20 years with the organization. Garner thanked Hodder, Rainbow Connection Executive Assistant Alexis Bryant, and the members of the Rainbow Connection Board for helping him learn about the program he will lead. It's been a good and easy transition, but there's still a lot to learn, Garner said. Our board of directors are helping out as much as they can as well. This isn't their main occupation, so it's impressive that they all take time, especially the ones that are close around our building that just walk over here and help me with something I need. Everybody's been helpful. The Rainbow Connection is Garner's first time working for a nonprofit. His previous job was working for a technology company where he started out in Cuyahoga Falls. When his service area was redirected to include his hometown, he got involved in the community. I was part of Dover Rotary, and that's how I met Carmel, Garner said. That opportunity led to Garner's new job and a growing awareness of area nonprofits and businesses. I'm learning there's a lot going on, and there's a lot to learn, so I'm just keeping my eyes and ears open and trying to soak everything up, he said. The Tuscarora Society for Children and Adults, Inc. is better known as the Rainbow Connection, and they have a long history in Tuscarawas County. The group was organized in 1950, became associates with Easter Seals in 1981, and separated from Easter Seals in 1992 to ensure donations solely help people with disabilities in Tuscarawas County. Since the beginning, we have been working with children and making sure they have everything they need, Garner said. Some of the requests they fill help children with disabilities with equipment they need to remain in social situations with their peers at school, such as modified playground equipment. They also have done large projects, the biggest being a baseball field for the Challenger Baseball League located outside of New Philadelphia. Recently, the organization helped area schools by giving them funds for COVID-19 relief. The main reason the organization was formed continues today. We want to help people in the community who fell through the cracks, Garner said, adding another area they provide help on is medical bills. We like to help out where we can. One of Gardner's goals in taking the executive director job is to reach a wider audience and expand the organization's reach. We want them to know exactly what we do and who we can help so we can help more people, Garner said. We want to make sure everyone knows if someone needs help with their medical bills or needs a project done in school or at a park, they contact the Rainbow Connection for some help. Garner is working with officials at Tuscarawas Central Catholic Junior Senior High School and the New Philadelphia Health Department to plan the telethon this year. The organization was fortunate in 2020. The pandemic shutdown did not occur until after their telethon was held in early March. That event raised $289,000. We are trying to figure out the best course of action to keep everyone safe, Garner said. It doesn't look like it's going to be too much of a challenge so far, but you never know with this virus. I'm praying that we'll be able to get this done. The generosity of people and businesses in Tuscarawas County has already become apparent. I'm getting checks from everyone. I love seeing the names and just putting names to faces, Garner said. The Rainbow Connection touches all of the areas that I care about in this community. This community has always done a great job for the telethon, and I'm expecting nothing less this year. The impact of playing sports his entire life is helping Garner prepare for his new duties. I've watched film all my life through sports, so now I'm watching film of Carmel and the sponsors on how they handle the telethon. I watched the telethon from last year and one from 2016. I've been studying so I don't mess this whole telethon up, he said. Hodder is an organized person and left a detailed notebook on planning the event. It's very easy for me to understand what I have to do, Garner said. Our assistant Alexis has her whole checklist too, so I'm just kind of learning everything on how to do this on the fly. Garner thinks holding a telethon is an experience one must go through to understand, and he's looking forward to getting the first one completed. He hopes his skills in hosting a podcast, making videos, and being a speaker will help. The organization recently launched a new website that contains a donate button to make contributing easier. They are solely funded by donations and do not get any government grants. They keep their expenses low. Even their office building was donated to them. I think that's why the Rainbow Connection has been so successful, because we have low operating costs. We don't have company cars. I can't take people to lunch and pay for their meal. We just try to keep all the costs down and put the money back into the community so you can see where your money is going, Garner said. Garner's goal is to keep increasing the telethon fundraising amount every year. Although he realizes this has been a tough year and people may not be able to give as they have in the past. The organization planned to get donations of auction items finalized by January 25th so they can be advertised, but they will accept them past that date. To donate an item, call the Rainbow Connection office at 330-343-8686 or contact them through the website. Final plans for the telethon auction have not been set. This year that might look a little different, and we may do an online auction as well, Garner said. Adding other organizations have done so successfully. We're looking into anything that is going to keep people safe. And now, Saturday 30 seconds. I just wondered, if Strasburg was going to continue to waste my tax dollars like they did last year and leave the Christmas lights up and on until March, it's time to take them down. It's almost February. Oops, it now is. As a grandmother, it breaks my heart to see these little children covering up their beautiful faces with these face masks every day. I just look at my little grandson and say, "You're so beautiful," but I can't even see his face. It's so sad. This is in response to the call about a cat problem on East 5th Street in Dover. This is not a cat problem. This is an irresponsible human problem. People are not having their animals spayed and neutered, and they're not being responsible owners to their pets. The cats are just doing what they know to do. It's our responsibility to have them spayed and neutered, and then the problem will go away eventually. And finally, we do hope New Philadelphia city government is able to establish legislation and to take action against nuisance properties throughout New Philadelphia. When we walk on some of the lanes and side streets around High Street and Broadway, we were appalled at the conditions of so many properties, as well police activity at one house. We feel sad that our city officials have let these conditions happen. Well, friends, that concludes the reading of the Times Reporter for Friday, February 5th, 2021. My name is Pam, and I want to thank you for inviting me into your home. Please stay safe, be blessed, make it a great day.